Today we are talking about Ketu in the third house. As we have said in our earlier episode, if we do not understand the effects of Ketu properly, then not only can we not recognize the problem, we won't even find a path to its solution. So I urge you to not miss our earlier presentation on Ketu. However, to put it in short, Ketu is a headless shadow planet. It has no eyes, which makes our thoughts and decisions lose direction. It has no mouth, so it brings sharpness or hardness in our speech. And because it also, lacks balance, it creates imbalance in the minds and thoughts. Ketu is directly associated with detachment, separation, past karmas, and spirituality, and sometimes even with ancestral issues and unspoken pain. It influences the unseen side of our life more than the visible. Now let's talk about what the third house generally represents. It is related to our courage, confidence, communication style, and our relationship with siblings, which is our brothers and sisters. Also, how we speak, how we react, how much inner courage we carry, and what our relationship with our siblings is like. All of this is shown by the third house in a birth chart. Use of words, ability to speak for our rights, and how we manage social connections, this all comes under the third house. If Ketu is positive in this house, there's a good relationship with children, a calm yet impactful personality, and inner growth in wisdom. If it is negative, then it may bring disharmony with our, with siblings, use harsh speech, injuries, restlessness, unnecessary travels, and weak self-confidence as well. In some situations, a person may have a lot going on inside, but they cannot express it in words. Their thinking might be strong and true, but the expression is weak. They cannot put their feelings into the right words. This is the effect of Ketu in the third house. A person with Ketu in the third house tends to have a special connection with the number 3. This number becomes significant in their thoughts, habits, behavior, and experiences. If Ketu is positive, then their children tends to have a very good behavior, and they are likely to be well educated and cultured. Such individuals may have an interest in invisible forces, spirits, tantra, practices, and similar things. They do not compromise with their enemies also. They tend to confront problems head on. Even though Ketu is in this house, these people can also be attracted to wealth and material pleasures. The third house is sometimes called the doorway to the 8th house. It is even referred to as the room of the dead, and it's linked with the southern directions. If a person lives in a house where the main door opens to the south, it can have effects on their children. Even if the house is physically nice, the person may feel mentally or emotionally unsettled. Also, if Moon or Mars is sitting in the 8th house, Ketu in the 3rd, and the houses faces south, then within 3 years, issues might be seen in their children, physically, mentally, or even emotionally. A person with Ketu in the 3rd house, no matter how small the help may be, if someone supported them, they will never forget it. They keep it in their heart for life. Even if they do not show it outwardly, they know how to hold gratitude inside. If someone ever held their hand when they needed it, that memory stays deeply rooted in their heart. They are people who know how to feel thankful from within. These individuals often have a helpful nature towards neighbor as well, or those around them. They like to step forward and offer help to these kind of people. They especially tend to form close bonds with their neighbors. These people usually enjoy being outside their home more than inside. They love to travel or frequently change places, but their relationship with siblings is not always easy, and they are usually used to walk alone. They often say yes to others without thinking it through, and find it hard to say no, always trying to please others. But this habit can, bring regret later, because at such times emotions take over more than the reason. If due to Ketu, a situation appears where no normal treatment works, it is considered a planetary affliction. In such a case, applying saffron or kesar on the forehead is quite helpful. And also, objects related to Jupiter like turmeric, etc. should be offered to flowing water, like any rivers or streams. If there is an elder person with white hair, fatherly figure living in the house, then the negative effects of Ketu can be reduced to some extent. When the native hopes for support, cooperation, or teamwork from friends or close ones, even if those connections were supposed to grow stronger, they often remain weak. Due to some strange reason, such relationships may break And at major turning points in life, those who could have stood beside them may leave the relationships incomplete and walk away. Even trusted connections may fall apart. In most cases, Ketu starts giving relief after the age of 24 or after the birth of a son. Ketu is connected with the ears, so if someone wears gold earrings in both the ears, it is believed that effects of Ketu becomes balanced. Because there is a belief that Ketu only listens to what Jupiter says, according to the author of Red Book Astrology. If Ketu is placed in the third house of the birth chart, that person is described using the phrase like a barking dog but firm in faith. Even if they appear aggressive from the outside, deep within they hold religious beliefs, moral values, and simplicity. Such a person, even though deeply tolerant and spiritual inside, can still be hurt. And that hurt doesn't come from outside, but from their own closed ones. If Ketu and Moon are conjuncted and weak in the third house, it affects the mother's health. In this case, offering milk and sugar at a temple is a suitable remedy. If Mars is in the sixth house, Ketu in the third house is considered weak. As a result, there can be problems in having children, and even if a son is born, it may be difficult to raise or get support from him. In that case, celebrating the son's birth with sweets or noisy environment, quite noisy environment, isn't considered ideal. Instead, it's better to send the children when they're grown up abroad for education. A person with Ketu in the third house usually has great management skills, but relationships within their own family often remain incomplete. When Ketu is malefic or when it sits in the third or eighth house as well, it can create combination that leads to or said to be Pitra dosha, ancestral karma. This yoga can result in the family lineage breaking, no male child being born, or even if born, the son and father, or with the brothers, not being able to live together peacefully, and not being able to live under the same roof with satisfaction. Because the third house belongs to Mercury and Mars, and here Ketu ends up in conflict with both Mercury and Mars. That's why, according to the Red Book Astrology, Ketu is considered debilitated, niche in the third house. When Ketu is in this house, the person may not get along with sisters or wife's side. There may be blockages, anger, and tension in family relationships. Post-marriage relationships such as with in-laws, brother-in-law, or father-in-law can become strained as well. Regarding relations with women, Ketu in the third house doesn't keep smooth relations with the wife, her sister, and her entire family side. The result can be differences in married life and even financial loss due to those kind of differences. Since the third house is also linked with speech, Ketu affects Mercury, which can cause harshness and bitterness in speech. And their way of speaking might make others feel quite uncomfortable. If Mercury is weak in the chart prominently, then business transactions or farming related work may keep failing again and again. Ketu in this house can also cause loss of patience, impulsive decision making, and then the person ends up taking the blame on themselves later on. So patience is the key remedy when Ketu is in the third house. If Ketu is weak in the house, the person might face unnecessary travel, going down unplanned paths, or facing obstacles and losses while traveling. Such a person usually lacks confidence in their own decisions, and often they rely too much on others' advice. But this habit can bring confusion and practical troubles. But if Ketu is positive in the third house, the person receives some truly special blessings in life. Their children are decent, practical, obedient, and very much supportive. Because of their children's behavior, the person earns respect in society. These people usually welcome guests even if they arrive uninvited. They don't feel burdened by visitors at all. Similarly, these people have a very strong intuition to read others' character or intent. They can easily tell who is trustworthy and who is not, just from how someone talks or behaves. Ketu affects silently. At first, things may seem normal, but over time, mental, physical, or family issues starts to appear. That's why, if you start noticing such effects, you can try some simple remedies right at home. If you experience weakness in health, especially related to lungs or breathing, you may offer Jupiter-related items like turmeric to a river. Also, applying saffron or kesar on your forehead is considered good. At the same time, wearing gold on the body is quite helpful, especially a gold chain around the neck is considered beneficial. Before traveling, you may offer items related to the sun and the moon into flowing water. This is believed to ensure safe and successful travels. Always saying yes to what others say is not wise. For important life decision, use your own thoughts, judgments, and confidence. You need to learn to think for yourself before deciding anything. If the main entrance of your house opens to the south, then you may need to drive a copper nail into the corner of the door frame in a way that doesn't damage the structure, but still maintains the Vastu balance. For the mental peace and to reduce planetary issues, for 4 consecutive days, you can offer 400 grams of Bengal gram, chana dal to a temple daily. It is believed that this helps balance the effects of Ketu. These types of remedies are not expensive and are also easy to do. If done with pure intention, faith, and consistency, you can gradually see significant improvement in your Ketu's impact. Now just imagine a person who feels so much in life but can't express those feelings in words. They were also looking for companionship, waiting for support. But when the moments arrived, friends parted. Relationships remained incomplete. As a result, they suffered pain but never showed it to anyone. Does that mean they were weak? Probably not. They were spiritual and tolerant in that same silence. Even though, there was no outer struggle, an inner test of strength was actually going on all the time. Even when they made their own decisions most of the time, they walked following someone else's words, which brought confusion and trouble sometime. That's why even when they spoke, it wasn't like before. Their words became careful and thoughtful. They chose peaceful ways. They stopped blaming others. They began to understand life. Even if companionship ends, the feelings can actually remain. Even if relationship stays incomplete, the soul should still know how to thank the divine, because the truth hidden inside the silence, that is the root of the true inner strength. We believe today's information was quite useful for you. If we understand what Ketu in the 3rd house can do and take the right actions at the right time, many things in life can become actually easier. We'll definitely continue bringing such knowledgeable information and remedies related content in the future episodes. Next, we will talk about what happens when Ketu is in the 4th house. Dear viewers, if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and